Do you want to know how to instill responsibility in your child? Well, a lot of people want to know that because they want their children to help out more. They want their children to take an initiative. I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I'm a teaching self-government expert and parenting expert, and I can help you know good ways to teach your children to take responsibility. That's what this video is going to be all about. Our family has a large garden, and with this large garden, we actually grow quite a bit of food. It's so nice that my children have learned skills that they need so that they could actually run this whole garden and all the food produced by the garden without me if they needed to. That's right, my children actually know how to take responsibility for the entire home, yard, and produce that we grow in our family. I remember not too long ago when I had an entire kitchen full of food, tomatoes, pears, grapes, all these kinds of things, and I had to be somewhere and some of that food was rotting. Well, London and Porter wanted to do some things with their friends, and I said, you know what, before you can do things with your friends while I'm gone, you need to make sure that we get this place cleaned up. Now they looked around and they said, cleaned up, right? Cleaned up means you've got to actually can, freeze, dry, preserve a whole bunch of this food. But they're motivated. They wanted to do something with their friends, and they said, okay. So they just went at it. I was going somewhere with my husband. I came back to jars all over the table with tomatoes in them, with pears in the food dehydrator, with grape juice. My children could do all of it. They could plant it all, they could do it all. They have the skills they need to become good, functioning, confident adults. I don't know anything that instills more fear in a person than not actually knowing how to take care of yourself. Well, the only way to learn how to take care of yourself is to be given responsibilities repeatedly again and again. So one of the things that we can do to help our children have confidence and have a good sense of well-being is to make sure that we give them lots of responsibilities all along the way. Chores are a common way for people to give responsibilities, and we can start chores when our children are really young. In fact, I started teaching my children to do their own laundry when they were 3 years old. This didn't mean they would put it in the washer or use the chemicals yet, but they learned how to fold and put away all of their clothes and to fold and put away towels when they were 3 years old. By the time they were 6, I gave them a light laundry basket that was like one of those that you could fold up into a circle, you know, and it would pop open afterward. And they could put their clothes in there and drag them down to the laundry room and put them in the washer by the time they were 6 years old. This isn't because I wanted to alleviate myself from doing work. It's because I wanted to teach them what a responsibility meant. They have a responsibility to change their sheets on their beds every 2 weeks. They have a responsibility to do all the things they need to before bedtime and in the morning. They have a responsibility to play their piano practicing and their other musical instruments to practice those things so that they're ready for their lessons. There are many things that can teach responsibility. So some of those things I've been alluding to, like a musical instrument, teaches responsibility. Chores teach responsibility. Working with parents and learning hard things like canning and growing a garden teach responsibility. Trying to earn some money by maybe starting a little business or something like that also teaches responsibility. So there are many different ways that you can instill that sense of responsibility into your children. But behind all of those ways that we've been talking about, there is a foundational principle. Behind all of those ways is this principle called self-government. So self-government is being able to determine the cause and effect of any given situation and possessing a knowledge of your own behaviors so that you can control them. So what that means is that a person who has self-government decides, well, what type of a person should I turn out to be? What would be the best type of person to be? Okay, then how do I get there? What skills do I need? And then they evaluate themselves along the way. This process of self-governing is behind all of those other things. When you learn to manage money, and make money in the little business of your own, whether you're babysitting or pulling weeds for neighbors, is self-governing. And it's self-motivating because you can't self-govern without being self-motivated or driven to make a change in your current situation. The same thing goes for chores and making yourself get your chores done, and for making yourself get your piano practicing done, or whatever other kinds of things that you do to help your children learn that responsibility or that sense of responsibility. Now, there's one thing I did with my children when they were older that seemed to make a huge difference, and this was we gave them stewardships. So they had chores from the time they were very little. But then we gave them stewardships. So we would say, okay, for your stewardship, you are in charge of the entire upstairs. For your stewardship, you are in charge of the entire basement. So there's bathrooms on each of these levels. The upstairs has the kitchen even. At one point, we had enough children at home where we said, your stewardship is kitchen. Your stewardship is upstairs bathroom. Your stewardship is all the floors in the house, like vacuuming and washing all of the floors. And so they had to look at their little area regularly, multiple times a day, and see if they needed to do anything like dishes or cleaning the bathroom. And it had to be inspected on a regular basis, usually every day. So they had to be watching over it. This was a responsibility that they had. And this responsibility taught them that it was okay and not too much of a burden to take on bigger responsibilities. Another great way to teach children responsibility is to have a family pet. Now, not every family is great for pets, but if you don't have a family pet, at least have a garden, because gardens require something out of everybody in the family. You've got to prep the ground, plant the seeds at the right time, pull the weeds, do the watering, bring in the harvest. There's so many things that we do in a garden. So something to care for also is a great way to teach responsibility to children. One of the biggest things that they have a responsibility over, though, is how they feel and how they are processing and how they are behaving. Learning self-government means that you learn certain skills for things that you need. So I need certain skills to communicate with myself and with others, and to choose to be okay at any given time. There are 4 basic skills I teach my children for how to govern themselves, how to choose to be okay, and how to control their behaviors. Those 4 basic skills are following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. If they learn all 4 of those 4 basic skills, they can handle any disagreement they might have with a coworker at work. They can handle problems with a spouse. They can handle issues with their future children. They are prepared to live a responsible adult life at some point in their future. Responsibility is vital. In fact, if a person doesn't have a sense of responsibility, they don't have a good character. Our children absolutely need for us to help them find the ways that they will best learn responsibility in their lives. One of the key things that we control about ourselves or take responsibility for in ourselves is our tone, our calmness. Are you calm? Are your children calm? Could you improve in that in some way? Well, most people can. If you're watching this video today, I have a special gift for you. It's a free gift. It's called a Calm Parenting Toolkit. If you go down in the description below the video, there's a link to the Calm Parenting Toolkit. Click that link, get the Calm Parenting Toolkit for free, and start taking more responsibility for your own calmness, and hopefully that will rub off on the children too.